So how do I start this? Basically, I'm going to be talking to you guys about something that's a big downfall in Southern California that shouldn't be. If I'm being honest, in my opinion, I don't think this should be a big downfall in Southern California, but this is something that we face every day. And that's homelessness and housing crisis. Homelessness and the housing crisis are literally like one of the biggest things we deal with in Southern California. And if I'm being honest, it's basically become like a regular thing like that we see in our everyday life. Like, for example, maybe you go to downtown Riverside, homeless people. Say you go to Orange County, homeless people. The housing crisis is like, that's like it. I feel like the housing crisis, it more so hurts a lot of people. Maybe the homeless people don't have to deal with this, but like the cost of living is truthfully getting higher. If I'm being honest, it's like, and a big reason why we even deal with housing crisis today is because one major thing is the high cost of living. I'm not gonna lie, the cost of living in Southern California itself has like just been like growing rapidly. I wouldn't blame it more so on the government, but I'm 50-50 when it comes to that, if I'm being honest. If I'm being honest, one thing I do believe is a big factor in the housing crisis is definitely the significant housing shortfall. I'm not gonna lie, Southern California faces like a very massive deficit of housing, if I'm being honest. Like this is something that we go through a lot, like particularly for like low income residents and like people like that. And I'm not gonna lie, the cost of living is going up, but if I'm being honest, we're being paid less. So that's why it's more so coming like a huge problem. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like Los Angeles, Riverside, I wouldn't say like Menifee and stuff like that, even like Moreno Valley, like Southern California, it's becoming a very big problem here. I'm not gonna lie. Like, and housing crisis, also, in my opinion, I feel half of homelessness happens because of housing crisis. I feel that's why I feel these two go together, because they're not the same thing, but when one is going down, the other is starting to happen. Like, once you become homeless, that's also a sort of housing crisis to me, if I'm being honest, because, and then when you go through the higher cost of living and like stuff like that, when you can't pay, you gotta go. If I'm being honest, and it's like, is this something that we should be dealing with nowadays? No,